All right, everybody, we're live with episode 13 of season 2 of Just the Gi Top podcast. So today we're really happy to have Ben Hodgkinson on. So Ben, first of all, thank you very much for coming on.
No problem. Good to be here.
Ben's a brown belt at Absolute MMA and Jiu-Jitsu in Australia under Lachlan Giles. So Ben is connected kind of to the podcast through our friend David Aguzzi, who runs Grappling Industries here in Ontario. So Ben is heading up the Australian, I guess, division of Grappling Industries. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But before we do have some pressing news here, just a few days ago, our very own Ahmed Shirani won a gold medal at the Pan American Championships. So first of all, congratulations, Ahmed.
Oh yeah, thank you very much. I appreciate it. It was really fun. I've been to 3 major tournaments so far: Old Man Worlds, Adult Worlds, and then the Pans. So it was nice to finally come away with something from one of them because I got schooled in the other one. So that was.
Did you use your judo this time?
No, it's funny, and for those who don't know, I remember I never do any stand-up. I don't believe in it, and so I only pull guard ever. And what I did was, at Old Man Worlds, I looked at the guy next to me, and he was gnarly. Like, his neck was really thick. He was like shorter than me by 2 feet, and his ears were really fucked up. And I looked at him, you know, because that's how they line you up in the bullpen. And I looked at him, I'm like, man, I would never stand with him. And I did. I did stand with him, actually. And so then I lost that way. And so I made a promise to Jordan to never do that again. So I didn't do it this time. I like baseball slide guard into everybody. Right when they said combate, I dove in there, and it was good, man. There was like 4 matches, so 2 submissions, and the rest were points, and it was a great feeling, man. I was just on. It was wild. I've never won anything major. It's all local shit, right? So it was really amazing. So yeah, thank you. So
it's funny, actually, and not to get too off topic, but we were talking about this before the show, Ahmed. Just that feeling that, like, you know, sometimes you're just on, right? Sometimes it's just you go to compete and just everything's clicking. So do you think that there's anything that contributes to that, or what is that all about?
I'm sure all of you can relate to, even if you're training, you're just training, regular training, and there's days you feel like, wow, like, why am I only a purple belt? I should be a brown belt. Like, you know what I mean? And that's how I felt that day competing. However, there's also days training, just simple training, where I'm like, wow, I don't deserve this purple belt. Like, you know, so it's really luck, and maybe Ben can give us. He's a lot more accomplished than any of us, so maybe he can fill us in on some of the mental aspects of that. But I wish there was a way to always be on when you want to be on. But it's really random, man. I don't know if it's sleep. I don't know if it's diet. I don't know what the fuck it is. But I just happened to get lucky that day, and so that's it. I could do the same bracket, same division tomorrow, and go one and done. It's just so funny. And
man, that stuff is possible, but it doesn't diminish. You shouldn't diminish your accomplishment, and it's fantastic.
I think we should diminish Ahmed's accomplishment.
I think we should.
So, no, seriously though, man, that's awesome, and Jordan's right. It doesn't. Don't take anything away from what you did.
No, thank you. I'm trying to add more legitimacy to the podcast, you know. So because, like I said, there's people who think we don't even train. You know, so like, no, seriously, we're like, you guys even train? You don't know anything. Like, no, I mean, Adam just won actually a silver medal at Grappling Industries just not even 2 weeks ago, I think, 2 weeks ago, and you know,
last weekend, yeah.
Whatever, yeah. So I mean, congrats to you on that too, man. I mean, we're up there. We're doing it for you guys. You know, we're putting our bodies on the line to make the podcast legit.
That's the only reason.
I don't compete for anything else. I do it for the Facebook likes. And I do it for the podcast. So
I've been getting results too, man. I've been getting MRI results, but that's
so anyway, yeah. So that's it. But yeah.
So
let's get to our boy here. Let's get to our boy here.
Do you have any thoughts on that, Ben? I know you compete a lot. You know, do you find that, you know, kind of some days you're on, some days you're not? Like, is there certain things that you do to kind of get you in that right space, or do you find that consistency is easy to come by there?
Yeah, for sure. I've had competitions where I've felt really, really good on the day, and I've competed well. and just absolutely killed the division or something like that. And other competitions where I've lost to guys that I know like aren't anywhere near as good as me, and it's just because of mindset or something like that. So especially in some of the bigger competitions, I feel like internationally, I feel like I haven't performed as well because I've been real nervous or whatever. But I've gotten to a point in Australia where I feel pretty confident in most of the competitions I go to. So like I don't get as nervous beforehand. So I usually compete pretty well when I feel sort of more confident. If I'm nervous, can't sleep well the night before, can't eat well, like it doesn't. It sort of shows in the performance, I reckon. But as for consistency in training, like you have, I feel like I have days where I'm a lot of training with the week when you're nice and fresh from have a rest day on the weekend, come back Monday, feel really rested and good to go, and then by the end of the week you're just beaten up and can't even move, but you're still.
Ben, would you say that you're more? Oh, sorry, I was gonna say, do you like it better when you don't know your opponents versus you know them and you let their past accomplishments get in your head? Me personally, I like to face somebody I've never seen in my life. I do much better. But
Yeah.
Wondering yourself.
I've got two sort of opinions on that. Like sometimes in the past, there's been a couple of times where I've fought guys and I've sort of looked them up and seen what they're good at and kind of psyched myself out a little bit. So that probably wasn't the best thing to do. Like a couple of years ago, I fought Rolando Sampson. He's a purple belt from Atos.
Yeah. He killed it on the pans, man. He killed it.
Yeah, I was watching him. But yeah, I was probably going to have to fight him in Abu Dhabi. So I was looking him up and watched his highlight video, which is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And just really psyched myself out a little bit. And then, when I fought him, I didn't fight very well at all, kind of thing, because I was really like, don't let him do this, don't let him do that, try and stop him from doing all this stuff instead of just going out and sort of playing my own sort of game, which I probably should have done to begin with. So you can psych yourself out, but at the same time, I think when you get to the high level, any sort of advantage you can get your opponent, like if you know he's good at passing but really bad at being on the bottom or something, then like you can start to form a strategy. And I think at the high level you need to have a strategy against everyone you fight.
Now,
even if you don't know the guy.
Prior to your match with Rolando, did you watch his interview that we did with him on Just the Guitar podcast? Because I think you might have been really able to get into his head in that way.
You should have. If I did have Rolando on episode 32. Both got on the same. Yeah, we can both get on the same podcast. Some smack. Build it up.
So just speaking of your accomplishments, because we haven't discussed it yet, but so Ben is a 7-time Australian champion, 7-time Pan Pacific champion, and a 2 WPJJC trials winner. So obviously very accomplished. And like we said, now working on grappling industries with David. So Ben, maybe you could just tell us a little bit how you got into jiu-jitsu and kind of how you got to where you are today.
And how old are you, too, if you don't want to mind us asking?
Sorry, guys, you cut out for a second there.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just wondering how you got started in jiu-jitsu and kind of how you got to where you are. And Ahmed was wondering how old you are as well.
Oh, okay. I'll answer that one. I'm 23, because that's a quick one to answer. Mm-hmm. The other one's, that's a long story. So, I started training when I was 14 because there was a guy, like a family friend who was old. Like 25 or something, and doing more because I was 14, and that's what you want to do when you're 14. And he was like, "Oh yeah, you try kickboxing, but you should come and try this. It's really cool." And I was like, "Oh, looks kind of gay, but all right, I'll go down and give it a go." So I went with him and tried jiu-jitsu, and did it once, and lost all interest in ever punching or kicking anything again. Just started training jiu-jitsu full time. Kind of stuck at it for the next 9 years, and here we are now. But yeah, that guy stopped training and moved to America and stuff. But I kind of kept going with it. And then I left because I started in Perth in Western Australia, and now I'm on the other side of Australia in Melbourne. Like, because I moved over here for jiu-jitsu basically. And,
well, how long ago was that? Was that recently, or?
That was about a year and a half ago that I moved over here.
Is there just better training opportunities there, or bigger scene?
Well, yeah, it's basically, I think Melbourne is the best jiu-jitsu scene in Australia. Like, I was coming over here like 2 or 3 times a year anyway for competitions. Plus, there was a lot of good training over here. Like, Kit was over here training hard at the time, and a few other gyms that I wanted to check out. And like, I just had some stuff, some politics going on back at home that I couldn't be bothered dealing with anymore. So I was just like, screw it, I'll move.
So Ben,
should I be trying not to swear, by the way?
No, we don't care.
To swear?
No, we don't care.
Cool. That's good, because I got a potty mouth.
Hey, Ben, so you've been training since 14, and then you're 23, so like 9 years. I'm not sure if it's fully consistent that you're training for 9 years, but so approximately 9 years of training. You're a brown belt. Why the slow progression? Is it just, have you been hopping around a lot or something, or did you take some time off?
Why did it take me so long to get to brown belt? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I mean, usually, I mean, just you mentioned Kit. Kit got his black belt in 4 years, and the average person takes about 7 years, 6 years, sometimes to get their brown belt. So I'm just curious.
Yeah. You're calling me a slow learner, man.
How long have you had your brown belt for?
I think that's kind of what Ahmed was saying there.
Yeah, I'm just
cool. It's cool. True. So I got my blue belt when I was 16. Yes, I got my blue belt when I was 16. Then I got my purple belt, I think, when I was 17 or 18. So I wasn't too quick getting to purple, but then I was on purple for 4 years because I was training in this gym back in Perth, and then when I moved over here, like I probably moved before my coach at the time had a chance to give me my brown belt. Yeah. And then I moved over here, and I was training at another gym over here, and I was there for about 8 months to a year, and yeah, probably same thing. I creonted just before they got a chance to give me my brown belt.
So like, what are your thoughts on that? Because like, you're not the only person who's kind of been through that. So what happens is, like, just on the cusp of getting their next belt, you switch for, it could be personal reasons, it could be due to work, it could be whatever, family, etc. Yeah. And then it's like they start you over again. It's like they penalize you for switching over, and it's annoying because you worked so hard and you were just about to get it, and things happen. You move somewhere else, but that's horrible, and something's wrong with jiu-jitsu. I don't know if it's an old mentality thing or not, but I'm just wondering, like, were you pissed off? You must have been.
I wasn't too fussed about it. Like, I don't really focus on the belts kind of thing. Like, it's not like there was anything that I couldn't do at purple belt, like that I was really going to do at brown belt. So I was still traveling it, and sorry, I didn't really state that very well. What I mean is, like, it's not like I was killing it in worlds at purple belt, and there's like I absolutely had to be a brown belt. Like, I still went over and ended up losing just before the semi-final in worlds last year and stuff. So, like, there was still more things I could do at purple belt, so I was happy to wait a little bit longer. Yeah, kind of annoying. Like, the guy I was training with when I first moved over, his thing was like he'd put anything into my jiu-jitsu, so it wasn't his place to give me a brown belt because he hadn't really shaped how I trained, so he wanted me to spend a little bit more time training with him before he promoted me.
Yeah. And
which I suppose that's fair enough if that's how you want to do it, but yeah, it's kind of annoying. And then when I left, I went to Kit, and he didn't really have to promoted me straight away after Worlds, so that was cool.
All right. I know, like, there's a kind of a general rule of thumb, like a lot of instructors, they won't hand out a promotion until you've been at some place for about 6 months. Did you feel like you were ready
Yeah.
for your brown belt when you got it?
Yeah, I think so. I was kind of sick of being a purple belt at that point. Like by the time I got it, I was very ready to go to brown belt. Sick of being called a sandbagger.
It's I guess you kind of you don't have a lot of good options there, especially like if you need to change schools or whatever for whatever reason, whatever the reason is. You don't want to be that guy that sticks around, gets promoted, and then takes off right after either, right? So it's
it doesn't
kind
work
of you're kind of
that
in a
way.
tough situation either way.
Yeah, you look like a total douchebag if you do that.
Well,
But,
it's got to be tough being called a sandbagger when it's something that's based on like something that's completely beyond your control.
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
so Ben,
I-
when did you go full time, Ben? How old were you when you went full time?
So I finished high school and I started going to university, which is like college, and
Yeah.
then I kind of just I was going to university, but I didn't really go. I'd just sort of go to training instead, and then try and catch up later, but wasn't really interested in what I was studying. So eventually, I dropped out of uni and just started doing jiu-jitsu full time.
So that's a
Oh, lost him.
you lost. Okay, well I'll that's okay. I was just gonna get at like I was gonna get more into the making a living portion because he shared the Facebook page and said, hey, tune in and see how I make a living. So I was kind of leading into that. So we'll wait
I'm
until
sure
So
he'll be back.
while we wait for Ben to return, Ahmed, speaking of sandbagging, when are you going to get your brown belt?
I don't know. Rob, my instructor, for those who are listening, Rob Beltman in Guelph, he thinks my jiu-jitsu is horrible. I swear to God. Every time he sees me rolling, he really just no-sells everything I do. He's like, he goes, you have tunnel vision. You're forcing things, too much power. Oh, you passed him because of your speed. If he was faster than you, it wouldn't have worked. And I'm like, what am I even doing? Like, am I doing anything wrong? Like, am I right?
Rob will be listening to this and just like nodding along with everything. He's like,
Yeah,
that's
so,
all right.
He's trying to break you down to build you back up, Ahmed.
You know
It's
what,
like,
though? The big gap from purple to brown is so big, and the leg lock game alone, I have neglected it for 6.5 years. I don't even ankle lock people. Like, I don't think I know how to do a proper ankle lock. So I have a long way to go, I think. Like, I really, because
If you want to tap Ahmed, just touch his legs.
I'm not even kidding. Like, seriously. I mean, I don't even care. It's funny because when it happens, I'm like, that wasn't even real. Like, I don't even count it in my head. Like, that's how bad I am. Like, I don't even.
I'll never forget the first time we rolled, Ahmed.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
before we
remember.
even rolled, Ahmed is just like, you're not going to try to knee bar me, are you?
I just want to know, like, can I play a normal game or do I have to, like, just do the stupid butterfly game? Because I hate doing. There's certain guys at the club who only attack my legs, and then that's when you see my game go from spider guard to like just butterfly. I play the shitty butterfly game, like just to keep my feet safe. But yeah, no, probably not for. You know what? I've only been a purple for 2.5 years, almost 2.5 years. So I still got what 3 years, 3 years, 2.5 to 3 years, I think.
So are you gonna start learning some leg locks now? Maybe now would probably be a good time.
Yeah, I think I should. I should. But you know
You're
what?
not going to though. I can tell by what you're
No.
saying that you're actually not going to. You're like, I should.
You
And
know
there's
what?
one way that people are like, I should lose 30 pounds.
I know. I think I should learn
But they
to
don't.
defend them more. I think because I'll be honest with you, I never see myself ever using leg locks in real life competition or anything. I'm not going to. So I believe they give up too much pressure. Sorry, they give up position too often. And I'm not, and I can't spin underneath and on my neck and anymore. Like I don't even berimbolo anymore. So I don't want to do. So you know how people can spin for those knee bars and kind of inverts and stuff. I'm not planning to do that ever again, as long as I live. Right. So, what else is there? Like, you know what I mean?
So
I just want to learn to defend them. That's all. So maybe I'll be more loose with my feet and encourage people to attack, and then I'll try to learn. Because right now, literally, I do just tap.
Well, man, you and me, we'll train and we'll
don't you
just
think-
trade like knee bar. My
Well,
Whoa,
that was weird. Sorry,
happened there.
you cut out there for a second.
glitched out.
Adam, is Ben coming back on, or is he
Oh, that's a
temporarily?
good question. I just sent him a message. He's seen it, so we're just waiting. Okay,
Okay.
here's something else. So, like when you say learn to defend it, do you feel that the best way to learn to defend something is to learn how to attack it?
Yeah, that's a
Like,
very good question. You make absolute sense. You're right. I just don't want to get into bad habits because I've seen some people who have gone, and Jordan probably knows, and I'm sure Adam, you've seen people yourself. They only go for leg locks, and all of a sudden the rest of their game just fell apart. Like they're horrible on top now because they always die for them. They're horrible off their back now because like, you know what I mean? They're used to
I,
going like I don't want that to happen to me. I only do like three things good in jiu-jitsu, and I can't afford to lose one of them, or else I'm just bad. so yeah, that's what I'm worried about.
I think it's just yeah, you don't want to get tunnel vision, right? And I think that it's true of
And
anything,
I
no matter
will.
what it is.
I have that mentality to get the tunnel vision. If I do a couple leg locks, especially in tournament, it's deadly. It's like a wrestler in the UFC all of a sudden thinks he's got knockout power. Next thing you know, he's a shitty kickboxer. And I don't want to be a shitty leg lock guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like so. Am I wrong? I don't know. You're lucky, Adam, because you kind of did them early on in your career.
I just enjoy it. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
And I don't want it. Like I would worry about that. Like I would worry that like someday I'm gonna be like a purple belt on the verge of my brown and be like, oh shit, I don't know any leg locks.
Yeah, that's me. That's me right now.
I just want to get really good at like calf slicers and stuff like that.
Yeah, so but no, yeah, that's why jiu-jitsu is ever evolving, right? Like I need to do that, and I will do it. And honestly, I think that's why I don't think I'll see my brown in the next while anyway. Maybe at the end of the year or before
You
Nogi.
could start working like the bicep slicer into your lasso guard game there.
You know what? That lasso guard won me pants. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's every single sweep I did was a lasso sweep. Ask Rami.
Really?
Yeah, that's all I did. I played spider guard, lasso, swept. Some guys I passed, some I just choked them in their half guard, and one guy triangled or something. But yeah, you're right. I could put that in because it's perfect, right? If you land too soft, hard on them, you can blow out their elbow, right? So I was always conscious of that because I didn't want to get DQ'd, so I sweep them and very gently take my leg out so that they can free their arm.
Or you kind of like slide your hip down, right?
Yeah, I didn't want to like hurt anybody, and
Or you don't want to roll up on it and have them tap and then you get DQ'd either.
yeah, and you get DQ'd for it exactly. So somebody gave me I think who was it that told me this? Maybe it was Shipinkus. He said there's a trick that Chris Greenwood told him is like when you're coming up for that, attack the wrist right away so that if they do tap, if they tap to the slicer, but you're attacking the wrist, you're like, I wrist lock them. That's, you know what I mean? Like, it's kind of dirty, but if I may, can I, just since Ben is not here yet, can we just talk about
He's working on getting back in, by the way. His laptop froze, but continue.
Okay, competition, people who compete. I heard this great analogy, and again, Steve Shapinkas gave me this one, and it's amazing, and I want to get you guys' input on it. For example, take a 2x4, okay, and you take that 2x4 and put it on the put it on the ground, and walk on it. No big deal, right? You can stay balanced on it. Don't fall off of it. No big deal. Now raise it up another 2 feet. Now do the same thing. All of a sudden you're that much more cautious. Raise it another 2 feet, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh shit, no, there's 4 feet below me. I better be careful. Now you're kind of swaying and going a lot more slowly on this 2x4, and that's the difference between a non-competitor and the many different levels of competition. So non-competitor, flat on the floor. In-house. Okay, we'll raise that 2x4 another 2 feet. Ontario Open or Grappling Industries, okay, now it's up another 6 feet, and then et cetera, et cetera. So we all can walk on this 2x4. All of us can, no big deal, very comfortably, but all you have to do is change it just a little bit higher, and all of a sudden you're freaked out. And I thought that was amazing. Like that really stuck.
It's a good analogy. Like you just change the context of the situation. Nothing else really changes. It's all still just jiu-jitsu, right?
Absolutely. Like, so I thought that was pretty amazing. And then,
it's interesting. I like that.
Yeah, man, Sir Pink is dropping some knowledge, man, and it really stuck with me. You know, like
He's a
so.
philosopher, man.
Yeah, no, it was good. Like so, anyway, like I said, anybody who doesn't compete or anyone who's watching this who doesn't, I encourage you to do that. Walk on that 2x4 at an elevated, height because you're doing yourself a disservice, man. You really are. It's just, so just to challenge yourself. And you know what? There's so many upsets that happen at Pan, guys. Like so many people I expected to do well were one and done. It was just so crazy. It's just there's so many factors when you fly away like that. Like it could be a bad weight cut. It could be like fuck. I was retaining water after the flight. I guess that's normal. And I needed to cut like 2 pounds. I'm like, what the hell? Why am I heavy? Like like there's so many things going on. But it was cool, man. You guys, we all gotta go one day. Just the G-Top has to go out there, man. But
Just roll
We'll do
in.
it. We'll do it one day. Like
Yeah, man.
How will we
senior,
deal with
senior floor division
just
or something.
the throngs of supporters that will be?
Well, it's funny. I do want to say thank you to the people who did come up and introduce themselves to me at PANS. I did have, quite a few actually who recognized me and said hi. And the general consensus is people like what we do and they think it's amazing and stuff like that. So, so thank you to those people who came up and it was it was fun.
Did anybody comment on how exotic you are?
No one did actually. No.
Well, it's
No, I know it's a given, but but no, like people were, like I said, very supportive. Like there's we have a lot of people who maybe don't like what we're doing too. But
You
they
know,
never.
one thing that I really liked that you did was your podium pick. It was pretty nice. I really enjoyed the one hand behind the back, and then you opening up.
Yeah, but you know what though? Sorry, Jordan, you're breaking up there, but I think I know where you're going. But the IBJJF was very strict actually. So the hand behind my head, my back, is because I had a hat. They don't allow hats on the podium, and I didn't know that, so I hid my hat. So that's what that was. They also didn't want you to hold any T-shirts at all. Like if you hold like your school name or something, they weren't allowing that either. So they want to keep a very clean image over there.
But you did want to definitely show off the abs and the chest hair, right?
I did. I was just displaying my dominance on the podium there.
You look good though, chin up and everything. It looked fantastic.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah,
It was
yeah.
It was a very like Wolf Bonato pose.
yeah. It was.
People are going to be doing that pose now, man. They're going to be calling it the Ahmed.
Yeah, man, it was wild, man. Shit, seriously, I can't even believe, like, I still can't believe it. Like, that was crazy. I usually really suck at tournaments, so like I said, like I'm just coming off the momentum from Adult Worlds, where I had my epic adult 1-in-1 run, and then the provincials, and then this. So, but there's some really questionable referee calls there, guys. So I'll call out the ref by name. All these Gettys is his name. He's not
Oliver Gettys?
Yeah, he's got a rep for missing a lot of things and screwing up. Same with Samir Chantry. So anyway, the one case I'm talking about in particular, there's a competitor from Ontario here. He was competing for the gold medal. That's nice.
No, I'm trying to get yours here. Anyways, continue talking.
So what happened is this gentleman passed someone's guard, and he had it passed, and before the 3 was given, there it is.
There's his head's cut off, but Ahmed, you can see clearly pulling the medal aside to show the abs and the chest hair.
You get the drift of it, yeah. So.
Hey Ben, welcome back.
Am I back?
You're back.
You're back, man.
Am I here? Yes.
Yes. Okay, so what happened?
I'm on my phone now.
Okay, good. So maybe your computer crashed or something. You know what? That's normal. We get that a lot. So.
Ahmed was just calling it Samir Chantry for bad reffing.
No, Oliver Gettys.
Oh, sorry, Oliver.
Samir Chantry is a horrible ref too. Like he was he was reffing a finals match, and they used a 3-ref system. And he, like 2 calls that he made, both refs stood up and waved it off. They're like, no, like this isn't You know what I mean? They waived the points off, so he messed up. But no, just really quick, Oliver Geddes, a gentleman passed someone's guard, and before he can get the 3 points, because it just wasn't quite 3 seconds yet, the next competitors in the mat over fell on him. Okay, so the competitors were doing stand-up or whatever, and they just fell on top of this guy. He didn't know what was going on. So they stopped the match, and they started them standing. It was very unfortunate, and he lost as a result, because that 3 points would have won him the... There's other examples too, but anyway, he also screwed Steve Strippingers. But anyway, Ben,
sorry, just to get back to that point, if the 3 seconds hadn't passed, he hadn't solidified the position, how do you give him the points for it?
Because he had the pass. Like, he passed the guy. He did the whole, he tabled up his legs with his knee. You know when, like, you get passed and that their knee is under your legs and your feet are in the air, like, you're fucked, right? You're not regarding. Like,
but I mean, and I'm not, well, I guess I am trying to play devil's advocate, but if he hadn't passed yet, if he hadn't secured the position for the full 3 seconds to get the points, then why would you give him the points? It's an advantage and stand them up, isn't it?
It's a good point. Maybe so, Adam.
Okay.
Anyway, so Ben, welcome back.
Are we talking about Pan Ams again?
We were, yeah, just about some referees who are not really that good, but and they're known for it, like Oliver Geddes.
No, that's okay. I got to shout out my friend who competed in Pan Ams.
Go ahead. Who's your friend?
Hello?
Like, shout out. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I promised my friend I'd give him a shout out. He's a fan of your show. Levi Jones, Leary. He's a little Australian kid. He got silver in the Blue Belt Adult this weekend. Only just turned 18. So
Jeez.
He did real
Wow,
good. Lost by an
that's-
advantage, I think, in the final.
What weight class?
So yeah, carry on with the show now. I just needed to give a shout out.
What weight class, do you know, Ben? Ben? Ben, I think you're muted there.
Just having some technical difficulties here.
Alright, I'm not
Oh,
getting
there you
cut off
are.
again, am I?
Yeah, you're good now.
Alright, I'm back.
So, sorry, I was asking what weight class, do you know?
Maybe feather or light feather, I would guess.
That's a tough weight class, man. I fucking hate feather and light feather. They're
Yeah,
so
man.
fast.
He had about. Yeah, I think he had to win like 6 fights or something to get there, so he did real good.
That's
Wow.
impressive. At
Impressive.
18, that's awesome.
Congratulations,
Yeah,
Levi, right? His name's Levi?
Yeah.
Congrats, Levi,
Yeah.
from Ahmed Shirani. From one champion to another. Congratulations. Let that motivate you. You can do it.
That's the serious endurance stuff. You got to win compete 6 matches in your division. Like, these guys are gonna want to do absolute and stuff after that too, man. Like that's a lot. That's gonna take a huge toll on your body, man.
Respect.
I think about that and it makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah. Yeah, so, before you left, I was going to segue into a question for you, Ben. Just because you said you went full-time shortly after university, so that's about 18, 19 years old, up until 23. So what have you been doing to make a living? Now, you shared our page, and I really appreciate that. You shared our page saying, hey, check it out and see how I afford to do full-time, right? So share that with us. How do you make a living being a full-time athlete?
Well, basically, I'm just poor all the time, so I don't live a glamorous lifestyle by any means. I don't want to make it seem like I'm making great money, but yeah, I work 2-3 nights a week just as a bouncer at a couple of the clubs in Melbourne, and yeah, I do that 2 or 3 nights a week. Just do 2 long shifts on a Friday, Saturday night, and that gives me enough money to sort of save up. And then just survive on that throughout the week. So I got the whole week free to just train and bum around and do jiu-jitsu, and then on the weekends I knuckle down and work. And yeah, that's how I go
How
go
rowdy are
about.
these? How rowdy are these Melbourne clubs?
The ones I'm working at the moment are pretty tame, so it's a pretty safe gig. I've worked a couple of rougher venues, but yeah, at the moment they're all pretty tame gigs.
So you only put in like a couple days of work a week, and that can last you through, that can pay things for you. You know what I mean? Like what I'm getting at is there must be more. You must, like, do you do like teaching? Do you get paid to teach or anything like that? Or
I teach a tiny bit, like mostly just if Lockie needs to do something else or he can't make it to the class, I might take over for a class. But um, and like I mop the mats and stuff for a tiny bit of pocket money and stuff like that. But mostly, yeah, it's just these two shifts. I do two like long 10, 12-hour shifts on the weekend, and then that gives me enough to make it through the week.
Nice.
so when you fly out to Pans and stuff like that, like, just help me understand here. From what I understand, like the Australian dollar or whatever it is.
It's really
um,
bad at the moment.
Yeah, it's really. I was gonna say it's pretty bad right now. So, when you want to, so does that really stop you from going into the big major tournaments? Like, did you compete very often overseas?
Yeah, so having to travel is obviously, like, I think it's the biggest hurdle for everyone in Australia trying to compete. Like, anytime we want to go to America, like LA, is, I think if you get cheap tickets, it's like $1,500 return. That's a good price. So it can get real expensive, and then you got to look at accommodation and all that other stuff. Like, and yeah, we're so far from everything. So all the big competitions like Abu Dhabi, everything, we gotta pay a lot of money to fly over for them. So it's a struggle, but I guess if it's what you really want to do, you find a way to do it. So
Well, what are your thought on the crowdfunding phenomenon that's been very popular in the last 1 or 2 years now? Like, so maybe you haven't heard, I don't know, but like, like makeachamp.com, GoFundMe.com, all that kind of
oh
stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, well, what are your thoughts on that? Like, we have our thoughts, but I'm just curious on what yours are. And have you leveraged those before, or?
Uh, I haven't used any of that before. It's kind of just like asking strangers for money, right? Like you just
Exactly.
make a website and go, give me money to do what I like. But like, I think maybe it's a good thing for, if people want to donate to that, it's a pretty good cause, giving someone who wouldn't be able to afford it a chance to go and do their thing. But I think the issue is anyone can do it. Anyone can just like start a thing going, hey, I want to do this. Can I have some money? And then you just get a bunch of people begging on Facebook. It can be annoying.
Yeah, basically,
Yeah.
yeah.
You see, so you know what I'm seeing, Ben? Like, just in my opinion, is like I feel like just because of your geographic location, you don't really have. So the fact that you're as accomplished as you are is very admirable, considering that you are so far away from everyone else. Do you know what I mean?
Well,
Like,
all of the stuff that I've won has pretty much been in Australia. So like I think I've done okay in Australia, but I'm really trying to sort of win some stuff overseas, get some international uh, medals under my belt, sort of thing.
now
Yeah.
the sorry, sorry, Adam, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, except for the difference in the length of the flight, which will probably add to the expense. Like the Australian dollar is pretty much on par with the Canadian dollar. So I think you see Canadian athletes having similar problems, right? Just because the Canadian dollar is also pretty shit right now compared to the U.S. dollar.
Yeah, but everything in Australia is so expensive. Now, Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, but like, for example, a PS4 in Canada, now they're on par, but a PS4 in Canada is like $399, and in Australia it's like $700 or something crazy like that. Like, am I wrong, Ben?
Yeah.
Am I wrong? Like,
No,
it's
no, you're absolutely right. And it's like I don't know, it's sort of across the board. Everything's just more expensive. But I think the flip side of that is like we get paid
yeah,
more.
you get paid
Like
more, right?
I think the average wage is a lot higher over here, so people get paid a little bit more, but we have to spend more. But fucking David Aguzzi won't shut up about how expensive everything is here. Comes over, like every shop we go, $3 for a Coke? Ah.
So speaking of, and sorry, I'm just having some video issues here, but where are we here? Speaking of David Aguzzi, how was it that you managed to get yourself mixed up with this unsavory gentleman, David Aguzzi?
Just the wrong place at the wrong time.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, so he's from the Montreal area. He runs a tournament called Grappling Industries, which has done quite well in Ontario and Quebec as well. And he's branching out. So maybe talk to us a bit about how that got started, because you do have an upcoming tournament, right, in Melbourne?
Yeah, we have one in Melbourne and one in Sydney. Melbourne this weekend, and then Sydney a couple of weeks after that.
So how did this come to be?
Yeah, like why Ben Hodgkinson?
Sorry, what was that?
So how did you get kind of hooked up with David there?
Okay, so David knew Kit Dale, and like I was training with Kit at the time, and Kit sort of met David, and they sort of
Kit Dale.
David was like, oh, you know, I want to expand my business to Australia, bring some competitions over there. And Kit sort of said, yeah, that'd be a really good idea. You know, fucking Australia needs some better competitions. And they sort of started talking, and Kit was meant to help him out. And then after a while, I think Kit sort of realized that he would have to do some work, which kind of goes against
Jiu-Jitsu guys
everything
don't like
Kit
to
Dale
work.
believes in. No, he's a phenomenal athlete, great guy, but not so much with the organizing and the working and doing things when he needs to do them. So he decided that he wanted someone, like at first it was going to be me and Kit as well, and Kit was going to like help out with, I don't know, promoting things and doing stuff like that, but then
taking shirtless pictures for the posters.
Yeah, pretty much just like sharing stuff on his Facebook page. I think that's what he thought it was just going to be. Like David does everything, and then every now and then he can just share it on Facebook. But yeah, I think so. It was going to be me and Kit sort of co-running the Australian side of things, and then David doing everything from his perch in Canada. But then we discussed it, and Kit was real busy, and he was looking at becoming an actor and moving to America and doing all that stuff. So we decided that I'd just take over, and he didn't want so much to do with it.
What is the tournament scene like there? Like, how frequent are tournaments, and like, what's the quality like?
So there's a few now. There's some that are just sort of starting up, but for a long time in Australia there was like a real monopoly on all the tournaments. There's just the AFBJJ, this Australian Federation of BJJ, and they used to run like a couple of state championships in each state, and then the Australian Championships and the Pan Pacific Championships, and that's all there would be in the year. But yeah, there's some new ones coming along now. There's like GTA and a few small federations like that are sort of running comps, but I think none sort of at the same size and sort of level of professionalism that Grappling Industries is. So this should be a real good thing for Australia.
Sorry, Ben, isn't IBJJF going to be there next week as well? I thought I read that.
They run. They're doing the Sydney International Open the day after Grappling Industries.
So, they are.
Which is unlucky
okay.
timing, but whatever.
So can you tell me, is the IBJJF one, is that a recent thing? And how are you guys gonna attack that? Like, is it a well-attended tournament?
So it's the first IBJJF one they're doing in Sydney. They've done a couple in Melbourne before. So they had the Melbourne International Open last year or the year before, and yeah, so there's not much we can do. Like we're not trying to come over here and take away from any of the other competitions. We just want to have another option that people can go to. So we messaged everyone when we picked our dates, and we were like, this is the dates we're trying to do. If this conflicts with anything you're doing, let us know so we can try and space them out a little bit and not compete with each other. But yeah, I guess there's not much we could do. They announced their dates after we'd already got our posters made up and everything, so it was a bit late to sort of move our competition to a different date.
That sucks. But you know what? Whatever. I'm sure you guys will do well on that stuff.
But I mean, like,
They're
I'm sure.
different states, so.
Yeah.
I'm sure David too understands the importance of getting along with other promoters in particular regions. So I'm sure he's going to want to do his best to keep everything nice and friendly there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the thing. So can we, like, you know what? I know we have you on, Ben, but I just have to ask. And you're friends with Kit lately, but why is he falling away from jiu-jitsu? He's so good at it, and especially if he's training as much as he can. And again, maybe you can't even answer, but just somebody who's so talented. I'm wondering, like, why stop something that you're so good at? Do you know what I mean? Like.
Yeah, I can't really answer that for him, man. You're gonna have to ask him yourself, sort of thing. But I feel where you're coming from. Like, it's frustrating for someone that puts all of their effort pretty much into getting good at jiu-jitsu to see someone that's so, like, naturally good at it and could do so much with the talent he's got. And but I guess he just wants to do other things. He's looking at what he wants to do with his life, and it's not jiu-jitsu. So.
But you know what though? In a way, and I'm not going to make this about Kit. We've had him on before, and maybe we'll have him on again in the future. But I think at one point, I mean, maybe you haven't experienced it yourself because now you're getting more into the business side of things. You're getting into the promotional side of things, and there's money there. But I think maybe a lot of people, when they get a little older, realize, shit, man, there is no money in this, and I got to do something about it, you know. And is this, like, for you, like, is that something you realize, and now you're getting more into the promotional side of things to actually make a living? There's no shame in saying you need to make money, right? So is this something that just kind of happened at the right time for you in your life, or where you're like, yeah, I want to, because you said earlier, like, I live pretty poorly, like, and that's cool when you're younger, but now, you know, you want to get older, you want some shit, right? You want a car or whatever, I don't know, whatever the fuck you want, but you know what I mean. But but yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it'd definitely be, it's a good way to for me make a little bit of extra money. So at the moment, like I said, I work a couple nights a week, and that gives me enough to make it through the week. But it's hard to do that, and at the same time save up for traveling, going to America, like for Worlds and stuff like that. It's really hard to save money when you're sort of just working and training, and that's all you do. So ideally for me, this would be a good way to sort of run a couple competitions, make a bunch of money. That's paid for another trip. I can go to a competition overseas, come back, do another few competitions, go away, do a training camp somewhere, compete somewhere, come back, and sort of a way for me to be able to travel and compete a little bit better.
That's awesome. So, will you be doing Worlds this year, which is in about 2 months from now, I think?
Yeah, I'm planning on doing Abu Dhabi and Worlds this year.
Oh, awesome!
So,
nice.
Even though I didn't win the ticket this year, I have to pay my own way.
Yeah. No. Sorry, Adam. Go ahead. You were.
No, so I was just gonna say, if people are watching, they're interested in getting in on one of the Grappling Industries tournaments. How do they do that?
So all the information's on the Grappling Industries Facebook page, but the registration and sign up is all on grapplingindustries.com. Yeah, just check with David. He's nodding. All right. Go to grapplingindustries.com, follow the instructions, and you can sign up for either of the competitions there.
That's awesome, man. And is David, is he going to pay us right now for saying grapplingindustries.com? Can you?
I think we'd settled on, I think it was $150 every time we mentioned Grappling Industries.
Grappling Industries?
He's on PayPal.
Yeah, Grappling Industries.
He's on PayPal transferring you guys that money for the show.
Oh, okay. All right, great. But wait, he doesn't have my email. All right, never mind.
No, you'll definitely receive that money.
Okay.
It's out there. It's on the way.
So So, I mean, I was talking to David the other day, and at first I had assumed that he was just renting mats or something, but it sounds like basically like you guys are going all in down there. You know, David's purchased a whole bunch of mats, so you're planning on keeping this going as a long-term thing, obviously, then, right?
Oh yeah, he's definitely making a big investment to sort of. It's not just the couple of comps he wants to do, sort of 6 to 8 comps a year over here, and we've bought all our mats, we've got screens and all the other stuff, which is all sitting in my apartment at the moment, just like taking up space. But we're going to move all that to the storage unit soon, and yeah, we've pretty much bought all new stuff for everything we're going to need, and yeah, so he's made a big investment. It's not just a short-term thing over here. He's in it for the long haul.
So you guys are planning 6 to 8 tournaments a year. How many are scheduled right now?
So we've only got the date set for the first 2. So Melbourne and Sydney in the next couple of weeks, and then once we've done them, we'll start looking at dates and start the whole process over again.
Are you planning on moving it throughout Australia, or are you trying to keep it in that area?
I think Melbourne and Sydney have the biggest demographics for like the biggest jiu-jitsu scenes, so they're the smartest places to hold tournaments at the moment. But we've had a lot of people messaging us asking, you should come out to Queensland, you should come to Brisbane or Adelaide or something like that and run a competition over here. So maybe, we'll see how we go. If we get enough demand for it, then there's no reason we wouldn't take it to a different state and run them all over Australia.
How about something like in that, forgive me because I'm completely oblivious to Australia and New Zealand, but New Zealand's not that far either. Like, is that something that's even possible, or do you guys hate each other? Like, I don't even know.
No, we don't, well, I don't personally hate New Zealand, but so New Zealand to Australia is kind of like, they're the ones like we all make jokes about.
But they're like
I know, like America makes a lot of jokes about Canada, and Canada makes a lot of jokes about America, right? It's kind of
right,
like that friendly,
yeah.
But there's a lot of guys over there that train, and I think there's a small competition scene over there. So maybe, down the track we can look at holding some comps over there.
Or maybe attract them to fly over to the real country. You know what I mean?
That would be the smart thing. Why do we have to come to you?
Yeah, like they're so small and insignificant. Yeah, it's like Americans flying to Canada. They're not going to do that. Like,
you got to go there.
I go there because that's where the real competition is. And
we had all those California competitors showing up to Ontario Open.
And then
they should move Pan Am's and Worlds to Ontario.
Montreal. But that's okay because I'll just fly down there and I'll take their gold anyway. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's a flight, but I mean, I'm just joking. I gotta
Worlds 2015 in Sudbury, Ontario.
Yeah, we should do that. Okay, all right, man. But yeah, man, no, seriously, I hope it works out for you guys. David is a good guy. I know he can maybe hear this. He's a good guy. I like him. He's weird. A lot of the times he's really weird, but he's a good guy. And his heart, though, his heart's in the right place. And sometimes he says things he shouldn't, but he doesn't mean anything negative by it. So, but yeah, I hope you guys do well, man. I really do. And
it's shaping up to be a great comp.
Yeah, man, for sure. And can you ask him what is he paying his refs? I'm kind of curious. What's the going rate?
Oh, they want to know what you're paying your refs. He's ignoring me.
There's a bit of an inside joke there between Ahmed and...
yeah, it's just an inside joke. I won't go into the details. But anyway, okay, yeah, man. Good luck, man. That was awesome having you on, man. Seriously.
So, Ben, are there any sponsors or anybody else that you want to shout out to at this point?
Yeah, go on. Here, pass us one of those posters so I can read out all the sponsors to shout out. Alright, so we got to shout out. These are all the guys that are sponsoring Grappling Industries, alright? Grappler Athletics, Do or Die Australia, which is Fight Life, Budo Fight Gear, Bridge and Roll, Primer Labs, the Fight Factory, MA1, Core Tactics, and I said Browse. Yeah, I think I might have forgotten one or two there. Forgive me if I have, but yeah, check out the poster for all the sponsors are on there. So yeah, they've all been really good to us. They're donating a bunch of stuff to sort of give out to the guys because we're doing prize money for the open weight divisions. But yeah, so we're going to have a bunch of gis and t-shirts and all sorts of other miscellaneous stuff that we can distribute to whichever divisions we decide we want to give them out to. And so there's going to be lots of stuff that people can win on the day.
That's amazing,
which is going to be really cool. I should probably shout out my own sponsors as well. So
yeah, go ahead.
The Fight Factory, these guys, and Core Tactics, which is an antibacterial soap company, and Just the Gi Pants. It's my other podcast.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? Are you guys doing the Super Absolute in Sydney or Melbourne?
Sydney and Melbourne.
You're doing the Super Absolute for those? Are you doing it?
Sorry, what?
Sorry, I'm asking if you're doing a Super Absolute division. It's something that David does here in Ontario.
Okay, so what's that like?
So it's
open belt.
It's an open registration, open weight class, open belt level.
No, we don't have that, but we have for the no-gi, we have open belt and then just under and over 80 kilos for the open weight no-gi.
Oh, okay, cool.
So we got a light open and a heavy open, but all belts for the no-gi.
All right, well, Ben.
Yeah, something no one in Australia before, so we're trying that out.
Excellent. Well, it's been great having you on, so thank you very much. Great. Have good luck with the tournaments. Hopefully you get a great turnout. Like I said, they've been really well received here in Ontario. They're usually run really well, really efficiently. You get a bunch of matches in, and the day's over not too bad. So it's good.
Yeah, it's going to be sick. So I really can't wait. But thanks for having me on, guys. I had a really great time.
Excellent, thank you very much. And there's just there's one quote on your Facebook page that I wanted to mention because I really liked it. You said winning may not be everything, but losing is also really shit. I think that really captures a lot because people are always like, oh, winning isn't everything, but it's also not nothing, and it does really fucking suck to lose. So I like that.
I love winning.
Yeah. All right, Ben. Well, have a good one. Thank you very much.
Winning competition is the best feeling.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
All right, so have a good one. Good luck. And I'm sure we'll be hearing more about grappling industries in Australia. And take care.
Thank you, guys.
All right, thanks, Ben.
All right, bro. Take care.
Bye.